14 minutes. The stars belonged to the Karath Dominion, and they had belonged to them for 300 years. Every species in the galaxy understood this truth without needing to be reminded. The Dominion stretched across 2,000 star systems, and their warships numbered in the tens of thousands. When the Karath wanted something, they took it. When they issued a command, species complied. This was simply the shape of things, and no one questioned it anymore. The Galactic Assembly met aboard a vast station floating between stars, affiliated with no single world. Delegates from 49 different species gathered in the Great Chamber, but the reality was understood by everyone present. The Assembly existed to make Karath commands sound like consensus. Delegates debated and deliberated, and in the end they voted exactly as the Dominion required. Those who voted differently found their worlds facing economic blockades, trade embargoes, or considerably worse. The Karath delegate was a massive creature named Supreme Consul Vorak. His species stood upright like many intelligent races, but their bodies were armored in natural plates of dense gray chitin. Their eyes burned with a deep amber light, and when they spoke, their voices had the quality of grinding stone. Vorak occupied the largest chair in the chamber, elevated above all others on a platform that no official protocol had ever sanctioned. No one had ever suggested he move it. On this particular day, Vorak had summoned the assembly for an announcement. "Honored members," he began, his voice filling the chamber without amplification. "The Dominion has made a discovery that will benefit all species under our protection. Our long-range survey vessels have located a new world in the outer regions of the galaxy. The planet is designated KR7 by our navigation systems, though its inhabitants call it Earth." The delegates shifted forward slightly. A new world meant new resources, new labor, new tribute flowing toward the Dominion's core. Initial scans indicate the planet is rich in mineral deposits and supports a thriving biosphere. More significantly, it is inhabited by an intelligent species that calls themselves humans. Vorak activated a holographic display. Images appeared showing a blue-green world orbiting a yellow star, beautiful, covered in oceans and cloud systems. Then the display zoomed inward, showing cities, vehicles, and the inhabitants themselves. As you can observe, the humans are a remarkably undeveloped species. They have only recently attempted to venture beyond their own planet. Their fastest propulsion systems use chemical combustion. Several delegates produced sounds approximating laughter. Chemical combustion was the kind of technology most civilizations had abandoned before their recorded histories began. Furthermore, the humans have no unified planetary government. They are divided into nearly 200 separate political entities, many of which are in active conflict with each other. Their most powerful weapons are crude nuclear devices, effective for destroying one another perhaps, but entirely useless against modern shielding systems. Vorak paused. "The Dominion has decided that this world and its surrounding system will be incorporated into our territory. The humans will be offered the opportunity to surrender and become productive members of the Empire. Fleet Commander Serath has been assigned to lead the 9th Subjugation Fleet to the KR system." A hologram of Commander Serath materialized beside the images of Earth. He was larger even than Vorak, his chitin covering dense with the decorations of centuries of military service. His amber eyes burned brighter than most Karath, a sign of enhanced combat biology. Serath had personally overseen the subjugation of 11 separate civilizations. He had never failed a mission. The 9th Fleet consists of 840 warships. Standard protocol for a pre-faster-than-light civilization is typically 100 vessels. Commander Serath has requested additional forces to ensure a proper demonstration of Dominion capability. The humans should understand immediately and completely that resistance is not merely difficult, it is impossible. In a side corridor away from the main chamber, the Thelian delegate met quietly with the Dravashi delegate, a mammalian species with dense fur and sharp features. "Do you think the humans know?" the Thelian asked. The Dravashi shook her head. How could they? They barely understand that other intelligent species exist. They have been broadcasting into the void for decades, hoping for an answer. Now someone has answered, and it is the worst possible response. I feel pity for them. Their transmissions speak of cooperation. They dream of a united galaxy. Then they are unprepared for what this galaxy actually is, the Dravashi replied, and there was genuine sadness in her voice. The Dominion dominates, and the rest of us comply. The humans will learn this lesson as we all did. At least they may survive. The Karath do not usually exterminate species that surrender quickly. But I have studied their transmissions. The humans are a stubborn species. They fight among themselves constantly, but they also have a considerable pride. They might do something foolish. Then they will die, the Dravashi said simply. 800 warships against chemical rockets and nuclear devices? It would not be a battle. It would be an execution. The Karath Ninth Fleet emerged from hyperspace like a dark cloud spreading across the solar system. 840 warships materialized near the fourth planet, the one the humans called Mars, their hulls catching the distant light of Earth's star. The smallest vessels were the size of humanity's largest ocean-going ships. The dreadnoughts of the formation's center stretched over 5 kilometers from one end to another, armed with weapons that could crack continents. On the bridge of the flagship Absolute Command, Fleet Commander Sarath reviewed his sensor reports with professional satisfaction. The analysis confirmed everything intelligence had indicated. Primitive technology scattered across a single world. "Scan the system," he ordered. "Full spectrum. I want the location of every human vessel, every satellite, every installation." "Scanning now, Commander." Initial results show multiple artificial satellites around the third planet, primitive communication and observation platforms. We are detecting chemical rocket launches from the surface, routine cargo deliveries to a small orbital station. No military vessels detected beyond the planet's immediate orbital space. Sarath nodded. Exactly as projected. The humans had managed a small orbital station, but they had no deep space navy, no patrol vessels, no early warning network beyond their primitive satellites. They were essentially blind to anything approaching from beyond their moon. "Open a channel to the assembly," he ordered. "All frequencies. Let them witness." Across the galaxy, view screens activated. Billions of beings watched as the Karath fleet hung in space near Mars. In the assembly chamber, delegates took their seats, preparing to witness what they assumed would be swift and inevitable. "Attention, species of Earth," Sarath began, his voice filling the chamber without amplification. "The Dominion has made a discovery that will benefit all species under our protection. Our long-range survey vessels have located a new world in the outer regions of the galaxy. The planet is designated KR7 by our navigation systems, though its inhabitants call it Earth." The delegates shifted forward slightly. A new world meant new resources, new labor, new tribute flowing toward the Dominion's core. Initial scans indicate the planet is rich in mineral deposits and supports a thriving biosphere. More significantly, it is inhabited by an intelligent species that calls themselves humans. Vorak activated a holographic display. Images appeared showing a blue-green world orbiting a yellow star, beautiful, covered in oceans and cloud systems. Then the display zoomed inward, showing cities, vehicles, and the inhabitants themselves. As you can observe, the humans are a remarkably undeveloped species. They have only recently attempted to venture beyond their own planet. Their fastest propulsion systems use chemical combustion. Several delegates produced sounds approximating laughter. Chemical combustion was the kind of technology most civilizations had abandoned before their recorded histories began. Furthermore, the humans have no unified planetary government. They are divided into nearly 200 separate political entities, many of which are in active conflict with each other. Their most powerful weapons are crude nuclear devices, effective for destroying one another perhaps, but entirely useless against modern shielding systems. Vorak paused. "The Dominion has decided that this world and its surrounding system will be incorporated into our territory. The humans will be offered the opportunity to surrender and become productive members of the Empire.
Fleet Commander Serath has been assigned to lead the 9th Subjugation Fleet to the KR system. A hologram of Commander Serath materialized beside the images of Earth. He was larger even than Vorak, his chitin covering dense with the decorations of centuries of military service. His amber eyes burned brighter than most Karath, a sign of enhanced combat biology. Serath had personally overseen the subjugation of 11 separate civilizations. He had never failed a mission. The 9th Fleet consists of 840 warships. Standard protocol for a pre-faster-than-light civilization is typically 100 vessels. Commander Serath has requested additional forces to ensure a proper demonstration of Dominion capability. The humans should understand immediately and completely that resistance is not merely difficult, it is impossible. In a side corridor away from the main chamber, the Thelian delegate met quietly with the Dravashi.
The bridge of the Absolute Command was silent. Then Serath laughed, a deep, resonant sound that echoed through the chamber. "They threatened us," he said. "A species with chemical rockets has threatened the Karath Dominion." He laughed again. "I have subjugated 11 civilizations. I have burned worlds, and these primitives think they can engage us. They warned us." In the assembly chamber, the Thelian delegate spoke quietly to the Dravashi beside him. "They rejected the ultimatum. In 90 seconds, they didn't even debate it." "They either don't understand what they're facing," the Dravashi replied, "or they understand it better than we do." Serath's amusement faded into cold efficiency. "All ships advance to Earth. Bombardment formation. We will teach these humans the price of defiance." 840 warships began moving, perfect Karath formation discipline, dreadnoughts at the center, battleships and cruisers forming protective shells, destroyers and frigates screening the perimeter, a formation designed to crush any opposition while protecting the core command vessels. "Estimated time to Earth orbit? At current speed, 41 minutes, Commander. Maintain full sensor scans. If the humans launch any weapons..." "Commander!" The sensor officer's voice cut through the bridge with an unusual quality. Multiple contacts, hundreds of new signatures appearing throughout the system. Serath turned. "Where did they come from? No hyperspace signatures were detected." "No hyperspace signatures, Commander. They were already here. They were hiding." The officer's hands moved rapidly across her station. "The signatures are appearing because they are dropping their concealment measures. Sir, they were surrounding us, in the asteroid belt, in the outer orbital regions, in Mars's shadow. We were entirely encircled and we did not know it." On the tactical display, red indicators appeared in dozens, then hundreds, each one representing a vessel of unknown classification, positioned throughout the solar system in what was clearly a pre-planned formation that had been waiting patiently for exactly this moment. In the assembly chamber, the Thelian delegate stood from his seat. How is this possible? The intelligence assessment said they had no deep space capability. The Dravashi beside him said nothing. She was watching the display with an expression that had moved past shock into something closer to understanding. "How many?" Serath demanded. "Still counting, Commander. Current estimate is 400. Correction, 580. They are still appearing." Nearly 600 ships against 800 Karath vessels. Still favorable odds on paper, but this was nothing like what intelligence had described. These humans had not stumbled into first contact. They had been waiting for it. They had prepared for it. A new transmission arrived from Earth. The same flat, calm voice. "Karath Fleet, you were ordered to withdraw beyond the 4th planet's orbit. You advanced into our defensive perimeter. You will now retreat to beyond that boundary or you will be engaged. You have 60 seconds to comply." "Lock weapons on the nearest human vessel," Serath ordered. "All ships prepare to fire on my command." "Commander," his tactical officer said carefully, "we do not know their..." "Enough. We do not show caution to primitives. We do not retreat from a species with chemical rockets. All ships target human vessels and fire." The Karath fleet opened fire. Thousands of plasma bolts streaked across space. Overwhelming firepower, enough to vaporize conventional vessels, enough to shatter any shielding system humanity should have possessed. The human ships moved.
not like conventional spacecraft, not with gradual acceleration or slow maneuvering arcs. They moved in sudden, violent bursts, their drives firing in sharp pulses, changing vectors in ways that Karath targeting computers designed to track vessels operating within conventional physics simply could not follow. 90% of the shots missed completely. The few that connected struck human vessels, and their hulls did not collapse the way they should have. Instead, outer layers burned and ablated away, sacrificing material to protect the structure beneath. A primitive solution, an effective one. Then the humans fired back. The first shot came from a vessel hiding in Mars's shadow, not an energy weapon, a solid projectile, dense metal accelerated to 30% of light speed by electromagnetic rail systems, nothing but mass moving at relativistic velocity. It struck the lead dreadnought, glory of the Dominion, in its forward section. The Karath energy shields, designed and optimized to dissipate directed energy weapons, did nothing against solid matter moving at that speed. The projectile passed through the shields as if they were not there, through 2 kilometers of armor plating, through internal compartments, through the reactor core at the heart of the ship. The glory of the Dominion broke apart. Its reactor exploded in a flash of light visible from Earth's surface. 4,000 Karath crew died in the span of seconds. The shockwave damaged 3 nearby cruisers. In the assembly chamber, the Thelian delegate spoke in a whisper. They destroyed a dreadnought, 1 shot. More kinetic weapons fired from positions distributed across the solar system. Solid metal, cheap to produce, impossible to defend against at relativistic speeds. Karath shields failed to engage them. Karath armor could not withstand them. Ships that had conquered 11 civilizations died to weapons that any spacefaring engineer would have dismissed as crude. Evasive maneuvers, Sareth ordered. All ships break formation. But the humans had anticipated this too. As the Karath fleet fragmented, human ships accelerated inward from every direction, closing distance rapidly. At close range, they revealed other weapons, maneuvering missiles with nuclear warheads, nuclear-pumped lasers that burned through Karath armor at ranges where shields had already been stressed by kinetic impacts. They're using our own debris as cover, the sensor officer reported. They are concealing themselves behind our destroyed ships and targeting our formations from the wreckage. Sareth watched in growing disbelief as his fleet was systematically dismantled. The humans fought like nothing in his experience or in any record he had ever studied. No formation discipline, no predictable tactical doctrine. They attacked from unexpected vectors. They used electronic warfare to confuse sensors. They sacrificed smaller vessels deliberately, bait to draw Karath fire, to reveal weapons positions, to create targeting solutions for heavier ships waiting in concealment. Order the fleet to retreat, back to Mars orbit. We need to regroup. Commander, the navigation officer's voice had a quality Sareth had never heard from a Karath officer. Hyperspace interference detected. Something is preventing our FTL drives from calculating safe coordinates. Every vessel that attempts to initiate a jump receives critical error codes. Sareth understood. The humans had not merely built weapons to destroy Karath ships. They had built weapons specifically designed to trap them, to study Karath technology for however long they'd been preparing, to identify every capability and every vulnerability, and to engineer countermeasures for each one. The Ninth Fleet was not facing an ambush. It was inside a trap that had been constructed over years, possibly decades, by a species that had been quietly watching and waiting and building, while the Dominion assumed they were still pointing chemical rockets at their own moon. The battle unfolded with brutal, methodical precision as every species in the galaxy watched in silence. Human ships operated without centralized command hierarchy. There was no flagship to target, no command vessel whose destruction would collapse coordination. Every ship in their fleet shared sensor data in real time, every tactical computer working in concert, the entire formation operating as a single distributed organism rather than a collection of individual ships.
The Karath tried to identify patterns. The humans provided none. Every time a Karath formation stabilized, human ships attacked from the angle that had just opened. Every time a Karath vessel attempted to initiate a hyperspace jump, requiring 30 seconds of stable, straight-line flight, human targeting systems identified it immediately as a priority and struck it during those 30 seconds. The Karath had published detailed technical specifications for their rapid strategic repositioning capability in countless broadcasts, celebrating their ability to redeploy forces across the galaxy. The humans had read those specifications and built their battle plan around exploiting that 30-second window. Sarath watched his tactical display and understood, with a clarity that had come too late, what had actually happened here. The Absolute Command took a direct kinetic strike to its command section at timestamp 1 hour 19 minutes. The projectile penetrated 30 meters of reinforced armor and detonated its warhead inside the bridge. Sarath had one moment of comprehension before the ceiling came down. His final transmission, heard across every Karath channel and by every watching species in the galaxy, was a single word, not a command, not a defiant declaration, but simply an expression of a mind encountering something it could not accommodate. How? The flagship's reactor destabilized. The Absolute Command, which had led 11 subjugation campaigns without incident, broke into sections and scattered across the orbit of Earth's star. Without central command, the remaining Karath vessels dissolved into individual desperation. Some tried to fight, some tried to flee, some transmitted surrender requests. The humans answered none of them. This was not a battle for territory or negotiating position. Every Karath ship in the solar system had been designated as a target, and the human fleet would not stop until all targets were gone. The last Karath vessel, a damaged frigate attempting to hide in Mars's shadow, was located by sensor sweeps and destroyed by concentrated missile fire at timestamp 1 hour 53 minutes. The battle was over. 840 Karath warships had entered the solar system. None remained. The human fleet had lost 61 vessels. The exchange ratio was staggering. In the assembly chamber, the silence lasted a very long time. Then a new transmission arrived, overriding all other communications, broadcast on every frequency in every language spoken by member species. A human woman appeared on every view screen in the galaxy. She wore a simple dark uniform with no decorations. She looked like someone who had no particular need to impress anyone present. "My name is Representative Amara Diallo of the United Earth Authority. I will keep this brief." She looked directly into the transmission device as if she could see every watching species simultaneously. "Earth is closed. Any vessel entering our claimed space will be destroyed without warning. We want nothing from you. We will take nothing from you. Stay away and you will never see us again. Cross into our territory and you will share the fate of the Ninth Fleet." She paused. "We have been listening to your broadcasts for 40 years. We heard every council session where Karath conquests were ratified. We heard the votes approving subjugation operations. We heard 49 species do nothing while civilization after civilization was consumed." Her voice did not rise. It did not need to. "You had 40 years to build something better than what the Karath built. You chose not to. That is your failure to correct, not ours to solve. Earth will not be your protector. Earth will not be your member. Earth will not participate in your politics or your wars or your councils." A star map appeared behind her, showing a 50-light-year sphere centered on Earth's sun, marked in red. "This is our territory. It includes 17 star systems. Any vessel that crosses this boundary without explicit authorization will be destroyed. No warnings, no negotiations, no second opportunities." The map disappeared. "This is the only official communication the United Earth Authority will transmit to the Galactic Assembly. Do not send diplomats, do not send trade delegations, do not send survey vessels to test our boundaries. We have said everything that requires saying." She looked into the transmission one final time. "Remember what happened to 840 Karath warships that came here certain of their superiority. Then stay away." The transmission ended. In the assembly chamber, the Felian delegate sat completely still for a very long time. Then he turned to the Dravashi beside him. 40 years, he said quietly. "They have been watching us for 40 years. The Dravashi nodded slowly.
They listened to everything we broadcast. They analyzed every weakness in Karath technology. They built an entire defense system in secret, hid it from the most advanced sensor arrays in the galaxy, and then they waited. Pause. They were not primitive, Counselor. They were patient. There was a considerable difference. What do we do now? The Dravashi looked at the empty view screens where the Karath fleet had been, and then at the blue-green world that had destroyed it, now quiet again behind its self-declared boundary. We do, she said carefully, what we should have done 3 centuries ago. We stop waiting for someone powerful enough to save us, and we save ourselves. In the Unified Defense Command Center on Earth, Representative Diallo reviewed the final battle reports and allowed herself one quiet moment before returning to the work of whatever came next. 61 ships. The names of their crews would be recorded, memorialized, carried forward. 840 enemy vessels. 40 years of preparation, of silence, of patient construction in the shadows of asteroid belts and the dark faces of moons, of an entire species agreeing, every nation, every government, every people, that they would not become another entry in the Karath Dominion's catalog of subjugated worlds. Her aide approached. The Liberation Coalition has requested diplomatic contact again, ma'am. Standard response. We appreciate their respect for our boundaries. We will not engage in diplomatic relations. Encourage them to continue developing their own capabilities. They have done well. The aide nodded and withdrew. Diallo turned back to her displays, watching the quiet activity of a solar system that had purchased its freedom at considerable cost and intended to keep it. The galaxy would find its own way forward. Perhaps it would build something better than what the Karath had imposed. Perhaps it would simply reorganize into new hierarchies with different names. Either way, it would do so without Earth's involvement. Earth had one policy, and it had always been simple. We will not conquer you. We will not govern you. We will not save you. But if you come here, if you look at this blue world and its patient, quiet, 40-year preparing people and decide that what you see is an opportunity, then you will learn, as 840 Karath warships learned in 1 hour and 53 minutes, exactly what the silence was hiding. Stay away. The galaxy, finally acquiring the particular wisdom that comes from watching the impossible happen in real time, did exactly that.
The time has come to unite and act. Our world demands our strength and resolve.